are delighted to welcome three powerhouse women to our stage. They will present for about 30 minutes, and then we'll turn the mic over to Mitti Hicks for Q&A from the questions you provide ahead of time. Azza is right there. Raise your hand. She is going to walk around, so if you have a question, please jot it down on the notepads in front of you, and she will wander around and take your questions. So about our speakers today. From the newsroom to the open road, Mitti Hicks brings her storytelling expertise to the world of travel. As an award-winning co-host of the Via podcast by AAA and a freelance writer, she explores adventure, travel destinations, shines a light on Black-owned businesses worldwide, and gives voice to underrepresented travel spaces. Her journalism career includes reporting for local and national television news outlets, most notably WKYC TV in Cleveland and Fox News media stations in New Orleans and Chicago. This proud Ohio native infuses her work with warmth, humor, and a genuine passion for connecting with people and places. So welcome. Dontaira Terrell, editor-in-chief of the Buckeye Review, is a graduate of Florida A&M University and earned her master's degree at New York University. She's a sought-after video contributor across various platforms and has conducted interviews with Halle Berry, Tyra Banks, second page, Demi Moore, and Melissa McCarthy. She's written feature stories for USA Today, BET, MTV, VH1, and the Recording Academy. Welcome. Zakkiyyah Terrell White, Chief Operating Officer of the Buckeye Review, has more than 20 years of operations management experience across the legal, real estate, and financial services industries. She earned her bachelor's degree from Howard University and received her law degree and MBA from Nova Southeastern University and a Master of Laws in Business Transactions from the University of Alabama. She's been an executive council member on the Florida Bar's Diversity and Inclusion Standing Committee and a member of the American Bar Association's Alternative Dispute Resolution Section. They are both co-publishers of the Buckeye Review. So both sisters attended former St. Patrick's School in Youngstown. Is that right? Is that right? Okay. I got that right, huh? Dontaira graduated from Ursuline, and Zakkiyyah attended Cardinal Mooney and Cheney High Schools. They credit their parents for fostering their love of learning. Isn't that great? Their home included a small library, and all four, let's get that right, all four Terrell sisters were encouraged to read. Although White lives in Florida and Terrell lives in California, both women return about once a month to work on the paper. They have many family members, including their father. Dad, can I have you raise your hand? There we go. Who still live in the Mahoning Valley, and they consider this home. So let's welcome our distinguished guests, and let's get on with our program.
Well, let me just say, Lori, thank you so much for the introductions and reading the bios. I didn't want to make it about myself. I wanted to really dive into Dontaira and Zakkiyyah's experience because these are the women of the hour. 20 minutes, of course, for those of you who have producing background, if you're counting the time. So we'll get right into it. This is a special moment for me. As Lori mentioned, I'm currently a full-time travel and lifestyle writer, taking a break from TV right now. And that is how I was able to meet Dontaira and work with Zakkiyyah, because I also have a few pieces in the Buckeye Review. And just to give you a little bit of perspective here, Axios reported that there are nearly 6,000 newspapers left as of 2024. Any guesses on how many of those are African American owned? 12, I mean, low, but not that low. It's a little less than 4%. So we're talking about 204 newspapers. So the fact that we have one right here in Northeast Ohio is a really big deal. So I wanted to talk to you both briefly about, as Lori mentioned, you're both hometown heroes. So I wanted to talk to you about that aha moment that you both had when you bought the Buckeye Review. I mean, can you walk us through that process and what was like, okay, we have to do this?
I think more than saying we have to do this, and thank you for your wonderful introduction and for you for being here, it was more of a why not do this. For both of us, as was mentioned, we had a library in our home, small library, bookshelf, but 1,000 books falling off the shelf. And when we were younger, if we would say something like, or mispronounce a word, our parents would make us go get the dictionary, look up the word, and then use the word. So words have been very key and pivotal in our advancement through life for all of us. And so in this instance, I think we're fortunate to say that being the fifth family to own this newspaper, we know 3 of the prior families. Like I personally know members in 3 of the prior families. So again, it was a why not? Like it was just too great of a history and a past. It's been kept in such great care.
Sure.
Thankful to the McNairs for carrying on the torch for over 30 years. And what started off as a ha-ha, he-he turned really quickly into a very serious opportunity.
Yeah.
And so here we are today.
Yeah. Dontaira, did you want to add to that?
Yes, sure. I also want to give a little bit of background. Zakkiyyah actually was an intern for the Buckeye Review for the McNairs nearly, 30 years ago? And I also had... My bad. A few years ago,
A few years ago.
And I also had my first written byline in the Buckeye Review, so it always holds a special place in my heart. And I feel like that kind of opened the door to me becoming a writer. Also, I've worked extensively within the newsroom spectrum. I've always helped build up other publications. So to Zakkiyyah's point, why not? I'm helping others build up their publications. Why not contribute back to my hometown? That's poured so much into me and give back to this community, utilize my resources, utilize my network, and also just, give a voice to the voiceless and champion change within the community.
Yeah, sure. Well, talk to us a little bit about the mission of the Buckeye Review.
Yes, so for those who don't know, our mission actually is, let me pull that up.
Take your time. I'm keeping time.
Yes, okay, perfect. We actually revamped our mission. So our mission is to provide high quality, unbiased news and information to our readers that upholds the values of integrity, which is very important because especially in this digital landscape, a lot of times there's a lot of clickbait media out there. As you know, we're not fact-checking these days, so we definitely want to maximize that journalism integrity, but also have that transparency with our readers and our viewers, as well as accountability. Hold people accountable when we're doing these interviews and when we're going out into the field and providing research. But we also want to promote diversity and inclusivity within the media industry. And when we say diversity and inclusion, it's not just necessarily a race thing, it's also different socioeconomic backgrounds, it's also your educational background, it's ages, it's gender. So it's a wide spectrum of the type of viewership and readership that we're touching.
Yeah, no, that's good. Did you want to add to that at all, Zakkiyyah?
No.
Okay, so my next question is, so when I was here last year, we had a beautiful breakfast to celebrate the ownership, and it was a passing of the torch ceremony, and it was beautiful, and we were here downtown. So now that it's been over a year, can you both talk to us about the accomplishments so far, now that you have taken over ownership?
Okay, well, I will say a few of the accomplishments. Just so you know, the behind the scenes, we're constantly working, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly creating and establishing partnerships and relationships within the community. And our community, even though it's local, Youngstown, Warren, Youngstown residents extend far and wide. We have residents in California, we have residents in South Florida, North Carolina. So we're constantly, reaching those viewers as well. We extended our print circulation. We are now in over 200 cities across 29 states. A lot of people think when they hear the Buckeye Review, it's just specific to Youngstown. And that's also a pivot in terms of the kind of stories that we're publishing, both on the site and in the newspaper, to touch that broad spectrum of our audience. Thank you. We also extended our digital footprint. We launched a brand new website, and if you haven't checked it out, please make sure you do. And also, just a disclaimer, we have little Buckeye Review signs on the end of the table with a QR code. If you scan it, it'll take you to our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. We also started a YouTube channel. We have some great interviews on YouTube as well. And also, we established a journalism institute, Buckeye Review Journalism Institute, and I will pass that on to Zakkiyyah.
So the Journalism Institute, we are really at the tail end of just finalizing all of the paperwork. It's already been properly filed as a 501c3 with the IRS. And our hope is to provide educational opportunities, obviously in partnership with our school system, and partnership with our local media professionals, and also for those community members who just want to, obtain speaking skills or writing skills or whatever it may be. So there's definitely a lot of information on the horizon for that. We're very excited about it because it's all about service. We say all the time that the more we do, the more active we are in the community, the more we do, the more we'll get back and gain from it. And I'm not talking about monetarily. It's the upliftment of everybody. We're doing this for the culture, for everybody in here. So we are very excited about that. And again, we'll have more events and throughout the community, training opportunities, course curriculum. So it's a heavy lift, but we're looking forward to it and up to the challenge.
Well, can I follow up about the Journalism Institute? What sparked it? Was it just interest from the younger generation? Was it just interest from the community members? I mean, that's huge to have that here.
Yeah, I think too, in full transparency too, it was something that was on the McNair's plate as well. And they actually lit the torch and started some of the conversations and some of the talks. We also had the opportunity to meet with the Board of Education when we first came on board with Superintendent Jeremy and Sandra. I think she's somewhere in here. She's in the back. And we talked about how we can collaborate, how we can work together to start as young as we possibly can to enlist our community, especially our younger kids, to read again. To actually have a tangible newspaper in your hand. Like, I remember being excited to run outside to get the newspaper. I would pass by my aunt's house, and if I saw her newspaper on it, you just toss them, right? Jump out the car, run, and take the newspaper into the house. Like, that was a good time as a kid. But today, we know that reading a newspaper, a book, even watching the news really is foreign. Most people are just on their phone, and whatever comes across their phone, that's just what it is. That's as far as their news sources go.
Yeah.
So we think that if we're able to engage children younger and the community even older, to kind of regain that love for printed journalism.
Sure. Yeah, that's really good. I don't know if anyone in here remembers. Did anyone have current events when they were in elementary school where you had to do that once a week? Okay, all right, good. Yeah, I had to do that too. But my nieces and my nephews, they're not doing the same, and that really kind of inspired my passion for journalism. I think that's a good segue, though. So when we talk about 5 to 10 years from now, what is your vision with the Buckeye Review?
I think one thing we missed too, which will still be around 5 to 10 years and bigger, is that we were able to foster a relationship with our local TV station. Not sure if anybody in here, you watch beyond the Buckeye Review headlines twice a month. So that was huge as well. And the intent behind that is to showcase really the world, not just what's going on in Youngstown. All of us can say, no matter what city we live in, it's constantly just doom and gloom. It's not good news. It's not really, about, public events or movie premieres and all the things that, or holiday party at the White House. All of these things that we are privy to and have access to, we feel like it's our obligation to share it with our community. So we hope you're enjoying it and you continue to watch it. And we're also planning on continuing that relationship for sure for the next 5 to 10 years and continue to grow that. We definitely want to grow our readership and our viewership over the next 5 to 10 years. We also want to continue to groom, plant the seeds for legacy, including Miss Aza, my daughter, who is a junior publicist, junior reporter for the Buckeye Review. She had the opportunity to travel to Texas with us to interview personally Miss Opal Lee, who is the grandmother of Juneteenth.
Wow.
And so we want to continue those types of experiences and to continue to share that out as well.
Yeah. Do you want to add that to that?
Yes and no. I would like to say, in terms of 5 to 10 years, building that bridge and creating that intergenerational approach between the older generation and the younger generation, and providing a varied amount of content. And I think we have done a great job so far in terms of reaching the younger audience. And that has been, I would say, probably an accomplishment within this last year. A lot of our content, we've interviewed people from Ashanti to the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, as Zakkiyyah said, Ms. Opal Lee, as well as the descendants of the Clotilda ship. And for those who don't know, Clotilda is the last known ship to bring enslaved Africans to the U.S. in Mobile, Alabama. So we're kind of bringing that intergenerational approach with having a variety of interviews, historical context, different things. So, and yes, also, as Zakkiyyah stated, if you haven't watched, the segment airs every Monday. I'll be back on Monday, Beyond the Buckeye Review Headlines, 5 p.m. with Lindsay McCoy.
Okay, we will tune into that for sure.
Yes.
But I think you both bring up a point, and I wanted to bring in the audience for this. How many of you watch television at 6 o'clock at night in the evening? Just raise your hand. Okay. I want you to look, right? Okay. How many of you watch it in the morning for your weather, or, just to kind of get the news or the headlines today? Okay. How many of you read the newspaper or have a subscription to at least a weekly newspaper? So what I'm clocking here is that the younger people are not raising their hands, okay? And I think there was a report that came out that 45% of millennials and Gen Z are getting their news and their headlines from TikTok and Instagram.
Yes.
Now, I'm not throwing shade to that. There is a place for that. But I think because you both said that you're expanding and you're, trying to reach the younger generations because they need to know the news and what's happening. Can you just talk to us a little bit about some of your challenges that you've had with maybe that generation? And again, talk to us about how you're transitioning to reach the younger audiences. I think your daughter has a special case because she sees her mom and her aunt in these spaces, but a lot of kids don't have that. So, what are you doing to navigate this weird time that we're in?
It's definitely weird. I think one of the things that we definitely do, again, is we report with integrity. So we're not going to report on something and say, well, they said, or that's what I heard they said. We're going to provide the source, right? Because there is something nostalgic about facts.
Yeah.
There's something important about facts,
Sure.
right? But we live in an alternative universe, especially with younger people,
Yeah.
where whatever, especially in this AI generation, whatever they see, they just believe it. And so I think for us, we were more imaginative. We didn't have access to all of this technology. Our creativity came from going outside and playing and getting 2 sticks and building a house with it.
Sure.
Like figuring it out. That's not how it goes today. It's you pick up a phone, you put in whatever words you want to, and whatever comes up, that's the truth. That must be it.
Yeah.
So I think it's the integrity portion. We take a lot of time to actually do the research, to actually bring quality reporting to the table.
Okay. That and expanding on social media, meeting
Yes.
this younger generation where they're at.
I literally was about to say that.
Yeah.
Just trying to navigate that landscape of meeting the younger generation where they're at, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whether it's a YouTube video short. I asked my 17-year-old niece, how does she get her news? And she said, I Google, and the first one comes up, hey, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So yes, becoming an established source and resource for all generations, cross-generational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, I think we're ready for questions for the audience. Does Dana? Okay.
She's there still.
Yeah. Okay. Well, while we wait for some of those questions, can you just talk to us a little bit about some of the stories that have excited you this past year with the Buckeye Review?
That's a good question.
And my story excited me.
Go ahead. I was
Yeah,
about to
go
say,
ahead.
you tell your story.
tell your
The Lafitte Rosé story
Yes.
is
Oh, yes.
one
Yes.
of few Black-owned wineries, or no, actually wine brands in America. And I think, again, less than 3% of wines are Black-owned. So that was an amazing story that I got to place right here. So That was a good. I liked it.
That was a
Yes.
good one for
I'm
sure.
biased though. It was my piece. So.
And we also have Dope Winehouse and
Cider
Cidery.
House from here.
Yes, Cider
Yes.
House, yes, right around the corner, which we featured on our news segment as well, to also kind of match it and blend it out so you can see outside of Youngstown, well, in Youngstown, of course, making history, the first Black female brewery, or
That's-
brewer,
yes.
yes, huge.
That is
So shout
huge.
out to Hannah Ferguson. But yes, just kind of extending that as well.
Yeah.
And then diving into diversity.
Oh, diving. Yeah, I forgot about that story with National Geographic.
Yes.
I forgot about that story.
So those are some of the
Yeah.
partnerships that we've established. Mitti has been able to do a host of interviews on camera for us, and one of our partnerships is with National Geographic. So she interviewed, what was it, a diver?
It was
No?
a Black diver.
Yes.
Which is also very rare.
Yes,
So
very
you really
rare. So she-
are really getting these stories that you're not seeing even on national level, from the New York Times to the Washington Post. You two are really creating a space for these rare and unique pieces.
Yes, thank you. And I would say some other ones. Actress Tatiana Ali, who talked about maternal health. She had a terrible experience with her first child and the birthing of her first child. So that's what caused her to do home birthing next. I will also say Shirley Ralph, when she talked about the erasure of World War II veterans.
That was my story.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes, see?
You do so much that it's really, I wrote that piece. No, that's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, I'm like, it's been so much, you guys. You have to check it out. Go to YouTube, the Buckeye Review News, as well as Facebook and Instagram, the Buckeye Review News. And please visit our site, buckeyereview.com.
Nice. Okay. Is Dana ready with the questions from the audience?
Where is she at?
Oh, Oz is that back there?
Oh, is she gonna bring those up? Okay. Give her a moment. Did you
I
want to
think
pick
we
them
have
out the
time for-
fishbowl?
You can pick them. I think
Okay.
we have time for, 2, possibly 3, depending on time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So the first question is, what drove the decision to expand beyond the Youngstown market?
Okay, well, we were already in multiple states when we purchased the newspaper. But we decided, really, it was based off of excitement from local people from Youngstown who still consider Youngstown home, who live everywhere else. So, believe it or not, anywhere I go and I say I'm from Youngstown, and I'm talking about internationally, everybody knows Youngstown, Ohio. It's amazing to me. Everybody knows something or someone from Youngstown, Ohio. But what we try to do, if you look at our newspaper, many of the advertisements that are from out of state is we're showcasing Youngstown people who have businesses other places. We have a huge population of Youngstown, Ohio people in Charlotte. We have a even larger in Atlanta,
Interesting.
even on the West Coast in California. So just by virtue of, many people who we grew up with, our parents grew up with, us reaching out to small businesses, the membership, it grew. It kind of grew organically just by virtue of saying, hey, what is your business? Send us your advertisement. We want to advertise too. So really that's how, it was inevitable.
Yeah. So a lot of transplants still interested in what's
Yes.
going on here in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next question. So Dontaira and Zakkiyyah, first, congrats to both of you stepping into leadership at the Buckeye Review. Wishing you both much success.
Thank you.
Question.
Thank you.
And this has come up, right? Yeah. And I think we spoke to this a little bit, but the question is, how will you engage younger generations to ensure they see the Buckeye Review as relevant and valuable?
Oh, that's a good question. I think part of that is having some of the, I know some people are like, ugh, but I think trying to give them the experience of reeling them in with people who they know, celebrities they relate to, things they like to do. So, again, we live in interesting times, but at the same time, I think that it is our responsibility, our duty, to kind of encourage young people to read and to really look at the beauty and the value of human life. I think that with, again, social media, video games, where you can just shoot somebody up in 2.5 seconds, and whoever shoots the most people in 10 seconds win the game. I mean, it's kind of changing the mindset where, again, they live in an alternate reality that life is lifing. And if you are not reading a book or a newspaper or watching the news, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're going to get left behind. So it's our obligation and our duty to kind of meet them where they are as best as we can to kind of bring them along with us.
I love the fact that you said interviewing people that's relevant to them,
them.
because don't ask me who Gen Z or Gen Alpha, who they're into right now. I don't know.
No, that's so true.
Don't know.
I was also going to say inclusion. You know, we do have a children's corner section, as well as we do a lot of student spotlights to highlight their accomplishments, to highlight their achievements, so it doesn't go unnoticed, so they can feel valued, so they can feel, you know, proud of what they're doing within their community or their educational background. And so also one of the things that we are working on is actually getting more students to write
write
or
for us.
submit, you know, to the
That's
paper,
good.
to have their stories featured, to have me speak about their stories on the news segment, to kind of shine a light. And I think that would also help to kind of engage them as well.
14-year-old me would have took advantage of that opportunity. So this isn't a question, but someone asked for the code for Buckeye Review on the table for those who do not have it on their end.
Oh, just pass it.
And I think we have time for one more question.
You can just pass it back.
Maybe we have time, because it's only 12:39.
Okay.
You can go until 1 o'clock here if you're ready.
Yeah, okay, sure, of course.
more questions.
We have more? Perfect. Are there new topics or sections you're looking to introduce that reflect the current needs and interests of the community?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I was
Of course.
talking.
Yes.
You
Are
were
there
looking at me.
new topics or sections you're looking to introduce that reflect the current needs and interests of the community?
I would say one thing is our business leadership section. We also highlight people who have been promoted or who have taken on new positions within their company or corporation. So we definitely, that is a void for us. We need more of the announcements and more of the bios from local leaders in terms of when you get a promotion, you know, when they, when you're announced as the new president, CEO, or, you know, just anything in terms of that for our business leadership section. So we
Okay.
can highlight you as well.
Okay.
Another thing that's coming soon is our pet section.
Oh, that's cute.
Yay.
Please tell us more. Who doesn't like pets?
But no, I'm serious. Like, we really are coming out with a pet section. I mean, because at the end of the day, everybody in here at some point in their life has either had a pet, knew somebody who had a pet, and everybody talk about how dogs and cats aren't that important until they lose one.
Yeah.
So honestly, especially with the rise of emotional support dogs and animals, I think that it's important. Mental health therapy, we're going to expound on that. There is no shame in going to counseling if you need to go. There's always help, especially for our young people. We want to expound on their oratorical skills, because some kids, again, they're in their phones more than expressing themselves, and that can become dangerous. So just positive outlets, again, to help foster that relationship and build that gap between everybody's interests, really.
Well, so mental health and then the pet. So, like, if people here want to spotlight their pet, is that the kind of pet section we're talking about? Like, you know.
We have a few things up our
Yeah?
sleeve.
Okay.
We have a
Well,
few things.
keep that in mind. You think your pet deserves Pet of the Week or something like that? I mean, Buckeye Review is your place to go. Here's a good question. How do you balance profitability with the responsibility, that's a lot, of being a trusted voice for the community?
That's very good. Okay, and so that's probably up my alley in operations. So one thing I will say is that in most, I'm not going to say in all, but in most sustainable business ventures, you're really not profitable for the first several years. So there's no expectation for us to be profitable until we get it right.
Right.
And further to that, in the print industry, you typically are not going to see your profit from subscriptions. We charge $40 per subscription for the entire year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In many instances, that will not alone even cover your print costs for the whole year, as well as your postage costs for the whole year, as well as your technology costs, right? So you make the most money through advertisements, and that's where the community and the community support comes in. So again, our goal right now is just to get it right, and then we'll, again, if we do the right things, we pour back into the community, that'll come back to us, including profit. So
Yeah. Well, because you spoke a little bit about the subscriptions, I think that someone is asking, they're new to the subscription model, and they're curious about how they can get a subscription to print and online with you all. I think that's your question. I'm
okay.
sorry
Well,
if
as
I
of right
butchered
now, you can get your, you can go right online. We don't have a wall yet. We don't have any paid services. So you can go to www.buckeyereview.com. For subscription, you can feel free to either email us at subscribe@buckeyereview.com. Also through the QR code, there's information there. Again, I know technology. I just talked about everybody being their phone, but I keep telling you to go to the QR code. And then we're also in the process, we're in the final stages of you being able to not only sign up, but pay for your subscription right through the website online.
Okay.
So we're in really the final phase of that. That should be rolled out very soon.
So when people get their subscription, is there a difference between what we see in print versus what we see online?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a difference. What you see in print typically is a combination of online as well as what's featured on the biweekly show. So some of it overlaps, but definitely take advantage of our social media accounts because we put a lot of fresh, new content and things that we just simply can't either get into the paper because remember we publish monthly and we know things happen way frequently than monthly. So there's always fresh content there. So I would say even if you subscribe to the print edition, which we hope you all do, or if you don't, you will, definitely check out our website, our social media at the Buckeye Review News, really as often as you like, because there's no charge for that.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so, and I think you spoke to this a little bit just a minute ago, but what is the model you are using to make the Buckeye Review financially viable?
That's kind of along the same lines. I think it's when you're fully confident in the product that you're presenting, it's easier to go ask
Yeah.
for support. So again, we're just fresh on literally just making a year, and we've made significant changes to the website, to the layout, to the subscriber list, some of our vendors. We did a total overhaul in some instances, which took 6 to 9 months. So now we're making sure all of those things work and tweaking what we have to. And once again, we have that product that we feel confident in, then we'll go out and get more advertisements.
Yeah.
And I do want to speak to that. I feel like that's also another accomplishment of ours. We totally revamped the print publication. So if you've been getting your subscription, you'll notice that started. Thank you. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thank you. We worked really hard on that. At the top of the year, we rolled out a brand new layout, and within the first 6 months, we did our brand new website. And I also wanted to do an added note in terms of submitting content to be included in the paper. Being that it is a monthly publication, we go to print the month prior. So if you send something for that month, 9 times out of 10, it can't get placed because it's already gone to print and we've moved on to the next month and the next month. So just please keep that in mind when you're sending events or announcements that are timely.
Well, I'm sure that people's interests have peaked. So if they do have story ideas or events going on in the community that we should know about come this summer, what we're in March, so the print would be, I know, to think about. So this would be for May, right? So how would they be able to submit those news tips or those event tips to you all?
It will be hello@buckeyereview.com, and someone from our team will redirect you to one of our other addresses or one of our other team members, either from the contributor side of it, whether it's the advertising side of it, or whether it's the subscription side of it. So if you just send it to hello@buckeyeReview.com, it'll get distributed to the right team member.
Okay, it's good to know. So remember, if you're going to submit something, we're in May now. When will you introduce more local content? Any interest in hiring more local staff?
Good. Well, we do put a significant amount of local content in the paper as well as online. In our 5 to 10 year goal, and really before 5 years, what we hope to do is to be able to, because news comes out so fast and it dissipates so fast, we would like to get to a point where newsworthy content, let's say specific for Youngstown, you're able to find that on our website. Again, that's the technology piece that takes a lot of work to be able to. Another thing, too, is an app. We forgot to talk about that.
Oh, yes.
We're also in process of developing an app. So that is where you will be able to quickly obtain local community news and events.
Okay.
So
That's
we're in
great.
process of doing
That's
that
great.
as well.
Yeah. That is.
That was the one thing I forgot
Yeah.
about.
I forgot about that.
I'm like, that's where the local will come in.
You're
It'll be
doing
right
so
under
much
this. I
good
know.
stuff that we
It's
forgot
a
about
lot.
the app.
And then once we get it right, once again, we do use local vendors and freelancers behind the scenes. But again, once we get it right and we are in a position where we can hire local talent, for sure we will.
Okay.
That goes without saying.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a really good question. So, the campaign against DEI has morphed into a movement against any entity that identifies with any minority group. Have you discussed what this trend to label anything associated with equity and racism might mean to the future of the Black press?
Well, that's a good question. I feel like the Black press is really nothing new for us. We've always been under attack. So we have to keep fighting and keep swimming and keep owning our own so that we're able to dictate who, when, where, and why. I think it is also very important, though, to note that when we talk about DEI, there are so many people being affected by DEI. DEI does not mean Black. DEI does not mean woman. DEI means so many more things. And it is, unfortunately, once DEI is unraveled, I think that's when everybody else who assumes it means Black or just woman, they'll figure it out at that time. But unfortunately, it means so much more than race and gender. And so again, I think that goes into, we have to continue to be confident in our approach, maintain our integrity, and just keep doing the right things.
Yeah. Well, and to that point, I mean, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the Buckeye Review, you do stories on everyone here in this community. Am I, reading that right?
Yes.
And we
For
partner
sure.
with everyone in this community.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's
For
good.
sure.
Okay, so I'm going to pass on this question because I don't know if I can read the handwriting and I don't want to butcher it. And I think we talked a lot about how people can learn about the subscriptions, but what about sponsorships? How, the question is, how can people learn about sponsorships?
Oh, we have a website. I mean,
Yes, so along with the website build out that we're doing, we're also going to, just as you can pay for your subscription online, we are creating a page where you can see sponsorship opportunities or advertisement rates, color, black and white, duration, and you can pay for those online as well. But in the meantime, we do have an ad rate package. And so if anyone, again, is interested, we're saying hello@buckeyeReview.com because that's just the easiest email, and then we can patch it out appropriately. But we do have, you can also send it to ads@buckeyeReview.com
Yeah.
to get additional information. And the pricing, again, depends on if it's in color, black and white, if it's just for 1 month, or you're 12 months. If you if you do 12 months, you get 10% off of the overall rate. So it's a lot that goes into it. So we would just need more information from you to be able to give you fair pricing on that
For the sponsorships.
for the sponsorships and
Okay.
ads.
Okay. Do you want to add to that at all?
Oh, no.
Okay. So this is a fun one.
But if you're in here really quick and
Mm-hmm.
you would like an ad or sponsorship, you can just come see me. As soon as we wrap this up, just pull me over to the corner and we can talk
This is our
about
operational person right here.
it. Let's put that out there.
Okay, so all right, this will be the last question. And I'm not sure if it's really a question, but I do love this as a history buff. Someone said, as a community, we have a rich history. Is there any chance for a history corner?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
sure.
Even for, and happy Women's International Month.
Yes.
For our first story for the local station just last week, we actually featured Margaret Linton, which is a rich part of our community and our history, and specifically as a prior owner of the Buckeye Review. And so even for that one, we have, a couple minutes on the news. We directed people to go come back to our website or our social media to get even more information.
Yeah.
So absolutely, please do submit any history to us as well at that hello, and we'll take it from there.
I love that. Ask and you shall receive. But those were all of my questions for the moment. It was so much fun talking with you
Yes,
both
that
and
was
having
fun.
you all
Thank
be a
you.
part of this conversation. I learned a lot. I hope you learned a lot. And if you have any other stories or you want to ask for some more history corners or whatever else, they'll be in the back for you all.
Yes.
So thank you again.
Thank you all.